Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Air Journey webinar to discover the island of the Indian Ocean and beyond. We're going to be reviewing journey description from May 22nd, the leaving date, and returning on the 18th. But before I go into all of this detail, let me give you a couple of things. So first, I am Thierry Pouy. I'm the founder of Air Journey, starting that dream 25 years ago. And I've been expanding to different places around the world. So before we get started, a couple of things on this webinar. You're going to be showing on your web page over here a control panel on the right side. And there's two important things over there. The first thing, you are in audio mode only. You can only listen. You cannot ask any question, but on the right side in that control panel, there's a little dent over there called questions. And if you type in your question there, then at the end of the presentation, I'll go and answer this information. The second thing too is that in the handout, we have the flyer describing the day-by-day of this journey to the Indian Ocean. And number three, this presentation is being recorded. So at the end of the webinar, end of the day, or maybe on Monday, depending YouTube, I'll be sending you a recording of this presentation you can share with your family or your friends. So before any further ado, let me first tempt you with a presentation, a little movie presenting the journey, and then I'll come back and do a day-to-day presentation of what's happening. You did enjoy that presentation. So let me go over the detail of the journey. I see that some additional people have joined us for the presentation. A couple of things to let you know. On the right side, you have a control panel. You are in audio only mode. If you have any question, there's a question tab and you can write your question. There's also a handouts tab where you can download the flyer of the journey. And I'll be sending you a recording of this presentation on a YouTube channel so you can look at it at a later date or later time. So without further ado, let's discover this unique journey to the Indian Ocean. So the date's going to be the end of May. It's going to be a total of 58 days. We're going to be covering from Quebec City, our departure point, and returning to Bangor, Maine, a little over 23,000 miles. We'll be setting foot on 4 continents. We'll be visiting or stopping in 20 countries, and there's a total of 21 destinations. So suddenly a dream come true for all of us pilots who want to discover the world with our private plane. This is the map of the routing. And we're going to expand a little bit more on the map, but just to let you know, we have revised the program. Some of you might have seen it before. Revised the program because of the situation in the Middle East. We are not going nearby there. So on the way over, we're going to go through the Stance country. That's part of the excitement, again, of the journey. We're going to be visiting Georgia. We're going to be visiting Turkmenistan and all of these places, then through India. And then on the way back, after we stopped in Rwanda to see the gorilla, we're going to be flying straight across the desert of Sahara towards Europe. So that's what's going to happen on this journey. The pace of the journey was set up years ago when I started Air Journey, where we don't want to be flying out every day. We don't want to leave out of a suitcase. So we are spending time where time is required to enjoy the destination. So as you can see here on the left side of the screen, there's a number of places where we're spending 2 and 3 nights. The one night is Quebec City on departure and the stop in Greenland on the way over to Europe. The longest time we're going to spend is in the Maldives, in Malé for 4 nights. And then most of the exciting points are going to be staying 3 nights over there. Again, second slide over here, you see what is happening on the way back. Why Air Journey? Well, some of you have been with us before, so you know the ins and outs of the program. This particular journey is limited to 6 airplanes for many reasons. And as we speak, we already have 3 slots open. The journey is a go, and we have 3 more opening. The journey will be escorted by a Air Journey director. That's basically your guide who's going to be with you throughout the journey. He's a pilot, and he will be flying with one of the airplanes. We're not using the Air Journey airplane on this program. We do all the flight planning on your behalf. That's mean every flight will be covered by a briefing given by the journey director the night before the flight. The flight plan will be filed on our behalf, the authorization done ourselves, I mean by Air Journey, the fuel release the same and so on. So it's a real vacation for you. You just basically reach your plane, prepare it for the leg, and ask for the clearance, and everything is done. Other thing we also changed over the years is that on arrival, we have private transfers. You know, some of you might be a fast person to secure the plane, fuel, and then on their way. And some other people might need more time to secure the plane, do an update on the database and so on. So by securing a private transfer for each one of the airplane, you are basically free to spend the time required with the airplane on arrival. The journey is also based on very luxurious accommodation. We're going to go in details on them, but every one of the stops, we try to make it as unique as we can. At the tours at each one of the destination, they are done by local guide who are very familiar with the destination, what need to be seen. So very important to do that. All our dining is a la carte. It's included, dinners include everyday breakfast. Sometime we have lunch on your own. And also a twist on Air Journey, we include wine with every one of the dinner. So there's 10 reasons why you should be joining Air Journey. In this part of your program, you fly a plane, you own a plane, and you want to discover the world. So let's make it happen. We all have a QTL, quality time left, so let's try to enjoy the best we can. In this particular journey, the reasons include the different countries going to be visiting, especially at the beginning in Eurasia, which is basically a new destination for travelers around the world. It's not surrounded by too many tourists because few people know how to get there. Then we're going to be seeing the island of the Indian Ocean in a very unique way. If you want to do that without a private plane, it's going to take forever because you have to go back to a hub and fly commercial the next destination. There's no airline between the Maldives and Seychelles. There's no airline between the Seychelles and the island of Mauritius, and there's no things happening and so on. And then when we enter South Africa to that very unique reserve we're going to go over, again, there's no private airline going there. So very, very unique situation. We do these things for fun and discovery. When I mean for fun is that we are not an airline, and if there's any issues weather-wise, there's no reason to go under bad weather or anything that can stress us out. So, you know, we keep a very good eye on that. And again, there's one person with you throughout the whole journey. So keeping an eye and the go-to person for any question on the moment. So let's discover the itinerary together. This is an exciting photo of one of the beach in the Seychelles. And I broke down the itinerary in 3 different segments. The first one is basically the segment from departure city, Quebec in Canada, going all the way to Jaipur. So that would be the part in Europe and the stance country, or Eurasia as we know it. Then the Jaipur to N'Djamena in Chad, which will be the Indian Ocean journey as well as the African part of the journey, and then the return from Chad all the way to Reykjavik. So I broke down that one to give you an idea of the leg. We are within the normal destination. There's a typo here. Quebec to Goose is only about 500 miles. Then we have Goose to Kangerlussuaq, which is a little bit more. That's the distance total on that day to go to Kangerlussuaq is 1380. Then we go to Reykjavik at 870 miles, then on to Stockholm. And if people don't have the range, we might stop somewhere in Norway, Bergen, or one of the other places. Then we go down to Prague, Rhodes, Tbilisi, Ashgabat, Dushanbe, and Jaipur. So very easy for legs for the type of airplane on this journey, which are turboprop, TBM, PC-12, and so on. And then on the jet, everything from the Citation to the Phenom to the HondaJet. The plane confirmed on the journey of this time are a HondaJet. We have 2 TBM. Pending, we have a PC-12 and a Premier, Beechcraft Premier, just to give you an idea. So Quebec City, most of you hopefully have been north of our border and entering that unique destination, a flair of Europe, a flair of French, and we're staying at the beautiful Chateau Frontenac, the Chateau in Quebec as they call us, and that's where we're going to be meeting our other participant and going over the first briefing and all the details on the journey. That's where you'll be receiving the goodies. You'll be asking all the questions, especially of the crossing of the Atlantic, which is one of the interesting legs of this program. And after the briefing and all the questions has been answered, we'll get together for a drink and then going to dinner. Next day, we fly on to Kangerlussuaq. Our air journey always go to Kangerlussuaq. The reason for that is topography of the airport, the runway, the fact that they have a radar, and most important is that airport is close to the ice cap, but also all the way at the far end of the fjord, which means it's a lot less subject to any kind of fog who can happen further south in Narsarsuaq or into the capital in Nuuk, or known also as Gotthard. So we go to Kangerlussuaq. The hotel there is called the Hotel Kangerlussuaq because it's inside the terminal of the hotel. It's certainly the least fancy hotel of the place, but the other side of the experience is the local food. There's a couple of restaurants with very interesting menu. One of the signs we see over here, and I love that sign on the right side, is giving you the distance from Kangerlussuaq to all these places. It's been said the history behind the sign is that it was built during the Second World War. That's when the airport was built for transferring all the airplane from the US to Europe and to be used in the war effort. The first sign was showing the distance for the prop-driven airplane at the time with airspeed. Today, these distances are based on the commercial airliner and most likely a jet. So that's where we are. Next up after Reykjavik is entry to Europe in Reykjavik. Love that photo. It's showing basically that the airport of Reykjavik, which is the old commercial airport, but now is used mostly for general aviation, is really downtown, and we'll be staying at the Borg Hotel. Commercial flight going into Iceland are going to the other airport called Keflavik, which is further away, about a good 35-40 minutes from downtown Reykjavik. We rarely use Keflavik. Sometime if the weather has changed, we might, but most of the time we do use Reykjavik as a stop. And we spending 2 nights there, so we have 1 full days of touring. And one of the main things to be seen is the geyser. There's also some falls called the Gulf Falls. As you might be aware, there's a volcano right now in activity. So if that still happens in the month of May, we'll be organizing a tour for the people who want to go and see the volcano. And we also have a stop to the Blue Lagoon to enjoy the beautiful color of the water there, which is thermal water, and there's no additional heating except what the underground give us. Reykjavik is the only city in the world where the hot water going through the tap is basically coming from the heat underneath the ground. There's no use of any kind of enhancer to heat the water. Then after Reykjavik, we're going to be on our way to Stockholm, Sweden. Interesting city. A lot of history point of view of water-related things, number of islands. The beauty of Stockholm is that we're going to be visiting the place using a couple of local crews. We have a fantastic guide who gives us all the history of that part of Northern Europe, which is less, as you mentioned, compared to what happened in Britain, France, Italy, Spain, and so on. But there's a fantastic history in Stockholm, and we're staying at Grand Dame Hotel, called the Grand Hotel in Stockholm. A couple of photos here of what we're going to be seeing along the way. There's a Nobel Prize Museum, an interesting stop, Parliament Building, interesting architecture, and Royal Palace. It's also a colorful city, as you seen on the previous photo. Let me go back there. And this one, there's a lot of different color used to remove these gray color that mostly is happening in the sky because of the cloud. After Stockholm, we're on our way down to Prague, Central Europe. Our home there will be the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, which is an old monastery. It's been turned into a very high-class five-star hotel in the old part of the city. Prague has not been damaged too much during the Second World War, so there's a lot of history with the cathedral, the old quarter, the Jewish quarter, and so on. Very unique place to be seen. One of the one I prefer the most is on the next to the town hall, or on the town hall wall. That clock was built again in the 16th century, showing not only the time but a different phase of the moon and the sun, as well as the season, and it still works to these days. Very unique place. Then, as we move towards east, we're going to be using roads in Greece, an island very close to Turkey, to take a little bit of Mediterranean weather, water, swimming, and so on, relaxing, and discovering that old city was built, by the ancient the Greek at the time. There's also the Mongol. There's a fantastic history, and the architecture you can see here of the old town date back from the years when we had all of these people going towards the Holy Land, the Templars, and so on. Very unique history going on in Rhodes. As you can see, there's also a story going back to the Greek time with the Acropolis of Lindos. There's also a history of some goddess. So very interesting place to visit. And then we're going to be crossing over Turkey to reach Tbilisi in Georgia, staying in a hotel called Stemba, very unique hotel there, and then discovering the old part of Tbilisi. This one, for example, is an old private home castle who was done by a prince who now turned it into a winery. Georgia, Tbilisi, also for some of you going back to the time of the USSR, was when the USSR was basically gone in the late early 90s. Gorbachev was born in Tbilisi, and he's the one with Reagan who basically reopened all that part of the world. Beside the new city, the old city, choose that photo over here to show you that it's a very similar point of view of look at what you would find in Central Europe. The latitude give a pretty unique weather pattern. So that's why you get the wine. That's when you get a lot of culture and so on. And Georgia is a very rich country. Then we go on one of the former country made in USSR, the Turkmenistan, which has a lot of natural resource. And when again they got their independence back in 1992, they start their own development. And the master of the country at the time, the leader of the country, started to build all these pretty unique memories of the ancient time. So this is where we're going to be staying, the Yields Hotel, very complicated to pronounce. For some people who've traveled and have been to Dubai, this looked like a little bit the cell in Dubai, but it's set up, here in Turkmenistan, pretty interactive place. He also built a number of unique other building. This one is the wedding palace. There's a lot of white marble over there. That's why you see all of this white color going on. And he also, of course, part of the country, not all of the country, part of the country is going to the Muslim world. So there is beautiful mosque to be seen over there. And then again, as a dent to the previous Russian and people who came and invaded them, they have that arch of neutrality, who again can look like one of the Jetson world gadget back in our time when we had that on TV here. Then from Turkmenistan, we're going to go to Tajikistan, staying at the Hyatt in Dushanbe. Again, very European. On that photo, if you look to the top, you can see snow. That's a place where you have not only access to the water, but you also have access to beautiful ski resort, and a number of people start to go and going there. Tajikistan is also an important place for natural resource with oil, gas, and so on going over there. But the landmark have been inspiring, but also look at this beautiful region with the peak, the cleanness of the culture, and also nature. We're going to take our time to discover the outside of the city. From there, we are flying down towards India. And we have chose Jaipur, the pink city, as the place to stay. We're going to be going into the Ramba Palace, which is one of the most unique property hotel-wise that India has to offer. It was built as a private home back at the end of the 1800. Was turned into a hotel in 1931 during the British operating of India, and then become a hotel through the Taj Group back in the 1980s. Very unique place, the city of Jaipur with the Amber Fort built by the Brits, and also all the pink city, very, very immersion into what India has to offer. Now we're going to be entering the part of our journey visiting the island of the Indian Ocean, as well as the part of the games in Africa. So after Jaipur, we're going to be making a fuel stop somewhere. We put Mumbai here on the car, might be something further south like Gao or something like that. And then the destination for the day is Malé in the Seychelles. In the Maldives. Then we go on to the Seychelles. That will be the longest leg of the journey, 1,205 nautical miles. From the Seychelles, we'll go to Mauritius. Mauritius will make a tech stop in Madagascar, and then we'll go to Skutkuza in South Africa before Cape Town, Walvis Bay in Namibia, Mon in Botswana. Then from there, we go to Kigali, which is Rwanda, with a stop in Lilongwe, and then on to N'Djamena with a stop in Bangui for refueling. So let's discover each one of these stays. The first one will be Malé in the Maldives. We'll be landing the plane, parking the plane at the airport of Malé, and then we have a boat transfer to the private island belonging to one and only Reti Ra, which is one of the most unique hotels. And what you can see on this photo is that your accommodation on that stay are going to be this private bungalow. Each one of the bungalow is a room, and you have a direct access to the water. You have a net over the water. Very, very unique accommodation. We're going to be discover 4 days over there. We're going to be discover a number of things. There's beautiful snorkeling, beautiful diving, fishing if you want to do that. And on the island, a lot of activities. There's a bicycle, electric bike if you want. Number of things, right, and fantastic place to relax and get the sun. But there's also lecture happening over there. There's a very unique library. There's also a spa, one of the most fantastic spa in the world. A lot of activities. And if you want to escape all of that, then we can organize on one of these little atoll just with sand, just for you, a picnic lunch or something like it. Very, very unique destination. Then from there, we go to the Seychelles. Different between the Seychelles and the Maldives. Maldives is flat. Seychelles, you have rocky island, but also the beautiful blue, that all different shades of blue we can see. And the Four Seasons will be our home away from home, and that's what you see in the center of the photo there. It's been built on an island, so again, far away from the crowd of the Seychelles. Some of you might have gone to the BVI, and the Seychelles basically is showing the same kind of rock formation you have in the BVI, but a lot more spread and a lot less people, very attractive destination. And we'll take advantage of discover the island with trekking. There's going to be some sailing happening, discovery of the island, and we'll take you to a place where you have the Cocoa Fest. That must be a French guy who created that. It's basically a coconut nut who has two sides, and with a little bit of imagination, Cocoa Fest, that's mean your rear hand, looking like a fez in French. From there, we go on to Mauritius, unique island in again the Indian Ocean. A very unique site. It's an atoll, so you can see the barrier reef around it. There is again some rock formation. Beautiful property, again a relaxing place there, and we'll be staying at the one and only Hotel Le Saint-Gérand. Plus doing some excursion and discovering of the island. There's a lot of things to see on that island, but the hotel is also a very, very unique destination. The beauty also of Mauritius compared to the Seychelles or even the Maldives, you're getting closer to a different kind of climate. So there's a number of trees, there's a lot more nature, which has a lot to offer. There's unique floras over there, there's unique animals. So pretty interesting place, maybe a little bit like, the Mississippi River Valley with the kind of humidity you're going to get there, as well as the look of the place. Then we're going to be flying via Madagascar stop to go and enter South Africa. And our stay will be in the Kruger National Park, and we'll be staying at one of the most unique hotels of the world. It's called the Train on the Bridge. Used to have a train connecting the different city of South Africa towards the coast, going through the Kruger Park, but it's not in use anymore. So the bridge was left abandoned, as well as the sleeper car were used in the past. So someone got the great idea of rehabilitating this sleeper car, and each car is one room. So imagine the size of your room, and it's parked on the bridge, and you are staying on the bridge. We're not moving anywhere. The train is there. One of the car would be the dining car. One of the car is a bike car. There's also a little bit of a swimming pool over there. But the unique place and the unique concept of the train on the bridge is that you're over a river, and that's where the animals come to refresh themselves, drink, and so on. So from your room, from above, you're going to be seeing the animals that will be visiting that part of the world. Of course, we're not staying all day long there. We're going to have some game drive with four-wheel drive safari and going over to visit what that part of the world has to offer, besides the elephant, the giraffe, the zebra. There's also some leopard. There's also, of course, mentioned zebras and so on. Most of the photos you've seen here are photos taken by either myself or by one of the members of our journey. The reason I mentioned that, you see that leopard, it's really not that close, but I would say at the most 10 feet from you. So very, very unique place to visit. Then we go on to Cape Town, staying again at the one and only. The beauty of Cape Town is that its location, the tip of Africa, the setup with the Table Mountain and so on. But also when you do big long journeys like the Indian Ocean, it gives you the need to go back to what we would call civilization, and you have access to store, you can do some shopping, replenish on what has been missing. But we also take the time of Cape Town to go and visit the Cape of Good Hope. That's where the Indian Ocean is going to meet the Atlantic. So there's a photo taken over there. There's some unique fauna with penguin. You think penguin about Argentina or all the way down to Antarctica. No, you have penguins in South Africa. So it's very unique. From there, we're going to be starting our trek back north. And the first stop will be in Namibia, where we're going to be overflying the desert with all of these sand dunes. We'll be landing at Wellnitz Bay, and from there we'll take a small caravan commuter airplane who's going to take us to the desert lodge. It's an en Biong property built with nothing around it, and you each have your own little villa accommodation, and we're going to be discovering what that part of the world has to offer in wildlife with this fantastic reflection of these moving sand dunes, because it's all the sand from the ocean get pushed by the wind, and every year there's something different, or every day there's something different happening there. Then from Namibia, we continue trek a little north to Botswana. We'll be staying in the Angavango Delta at the Nbiong Xarenia Lodge. The Angavango Delta is a very unique thing on Earth. It's a delta, so delta, think about water. And yes, indeed, there's a river going in the delta, but then the Okavango Delta is in the middle of nowhere, not even close to an ocean, because all of these rivers disappear on the ground. So there's going to be some dry land we're going to be driving on, and as you can see at the bottom of the photo here, you have a couple of these skiffs, and the guide over there will take you to see the wildlife from the skiff instead of seeing that from the four-wheel drive car. It's also a place where you have a lot of elephant. That's again one of our, I believe one of our photos, or at least we have something similar. The elephant basically are free to roam all around. They're not going to enter your room or your tent, which are fixed on the ground, but they're going to be coming very, very close. So that's again a very unique experience to be there. The other animal there, giraffe, we're going to be seeing them, but there's also a number of hippo and nearby. And by experience, I can tell you that these guys do snore at night. And you know, I've got friends who do snore. I don't, but nothing compared to the noise of a hippo. It's pretty amazing. And then we trek north, as mentioned in the itinerary. We're going to be stopping in Lilongwe to get some fuel. Then we're going to stop in the capital of Rwanda, and we're going to be transferring by helicopter to the Virunga volcano range, and again joining the beautiful one only gorilla nest. So it's been built on the range of the volcano, sorry, on the side of the volcano range. And the next day we're going to be going towards to see the gorillas. A very, very unique experience and encounter. You're going to be going in small groups. I think maximum is like 8 people, so the group will be divided. There's going to be a guide, naturalist surrounding you. There's also going to be a ranger, and he's going to trek us up the valley, up all the way up to the side of the mountain. They know where this family of gorillas are, and when you reach them, you're going to stop, and the gorillas will come close to you. They will sometimes touch you. You cannot touch them back, but they're going to be as close as you can imagine, you know, 2 feet away, 3 feet away, and so on, and they're going to interact. And to be honest with you, that's certainly one of the most amazing experience I've seen in the world. You don't get out of an encounter like that. They're very subtle, but without any impact on how you see nature, how you see evolution, how you see Africa, and so on. It's you know, mind-boggling. It's a unique experience. Again, these are photos we took back in 2022. Extremely close, Mather, the family. The first photo we had was the gorilla in charge of the family. There's always one master, and then they go around them, and you get all these babies and so on. Very unique. After we leave that green Africa, we're going to trek back north towards Europe. And the stop we're going to be doing is in N'Djamena in Chad. And I show that photo because we're going to be 2 nights over there. We'll do some excursion. And that's the only place in the world where you're going to have the lake where you have these wild camel. Heard me, wild camel. Congregate and go and get some water. Unique site. Our hotel there will be the Radisson Blue. And if you look on the map, Chad is basically in the center of Africa. I mean, from north to south. And it's also one of the countries who offer a big lake with fresh water. So interesting background in that country. We'll take time also to visit some of the local village with the Gaui, with the Sao civilization. So a little turn into what they have to offer. Again, lots of painting going over there, the body painting and so on, excuse me, as you can see over here. We'll be encountering all of these things, exciting destination. Then we leave N'Djamena, Chad, to go back towards Reykjavik and home. The map over here is showing a stop in first in Tamanrasset in the desert of Sahara, then Granada, Shannon, Reykjavik, and back home. There is some talk, and it might happen, that instead of going back through Granada, we might be going back through Rome in Italy. We have some connections locally who might give us a pretty unique view of the Vatican. And if that's confirmed, we'll switch Granada for Rome. So here, just a description of what Granada is all about. We'll be staying at the Alhambra Palace. Interesting mix of hotel and Moorish style, Muslim style, because all that part of Spain was under the ruling of the Muslim world until the mid 1400s. So very interesting history going on there. Then from there, we're going to go back to some of us have a heritage over there with Ireland. We'll be staying again at one of the most unique hotels in the world, the Adare Manor. The owner of Adare Manor spent a tremendous amount of money to turn that property into a unique experience, not only in the decor, the room, the golf course, the wine cellar, everything need to be done. And again, if we want to make a parallel, the owner of the chateau himself, the manor, own the Sandy Lane in Barbados, as well as the building of Sandy Lane, not the operation, as well as the Mandara Oriental in Canouan, again in the Grenadines. So very wealthy individual, very wealthy accommodation, unique stay. And while we enjoy Ireland, we'll have a little bit exposure to falconry. We'll be able to do that. Over there, we're also going to be visiting some of the site of Ireland. So nice going back to some of the origin here of the US. Then tech stop again, not tech stop, overnight in Reykjavik at the Borg Hotel, Art Deco, and then we'll be flying back home. So in a nutshell, that's the description of the journey of what's happening. Now I'm going to go a little bit of the details of the journey itself. So as I say, as of now, we already have 3 airplane committed. So the journey is a go. We're looking always for additional participants. We mention often the group dynamic. It's always nice when you have friends or family members who want to join part of the journey, and we can make all the arrangement. That basically changed the dynamic of the group, change the venue of a number of things, and it's always amazing to be able to share with friends and family the discovery we can do in the world flying our own airplane. The pace of this journey is, we call it moderate levels. There's going to be city tour, hiking excursion, there's going to be boat tour, and the game drive, that's why we use the word moderate, is that some of this drive will happen early in the morning, even before the sun rises, and some of them will happen late in the evening after sunset. So there's plenty of time to relax, but sometimes you will be up and early to see the awakening of the jungle and the moving of the animals there. Put a little map over here with the different temperature along the way. It's going to be in the 50s, going to Greenland, and then all the way up to the 90s, where we are in northern India. And then in the islands, going to be in a very comfortable 70 to 80s. I see I'm still showing here Muscat. We're not going there, so don't look at it. Some of you have flown with us, some of you have not. We created Air Journey application back during COVID, and that's where we share with you all the documents regarding the flight, the fuel release, and so on. So overview of the flight briefing we sent you every day before the next leg or next flight we're going to have. We have a briefing. All of that is uploaded to your iPad or your iPhone, and we're going to be reviewing the route to be flown, the departure, the en route, the arrival, different kind of approach, the ground procedures, and so on. So we really basically break down all what's going to happen there. We also take a look at the weather using TAF, METAR, NOTAMs, pay for close attention to that, satellite photo radar. And again, as I mentioned before, we are not flying an airline schedule. If the weather is bad, we're not going to go anywhere, just to be clear. And now we reach the question and answers to see if there's any person who asks any question. Visas. Yes, we're going to need visas along the way. It's going to be happening with the different country. India is one of them. Some of the stance countries require visa. Some of them will be physically located in your computer. Some of them, I mean, in your passport. Some of them will be located as e-visa. So we'll be doing that. Uniform. That's a good question. Usually when we pass go into the Middle East, we do wear a uniform. I would say that yes, on this journey, we'll do uniform. Maybe not all the legs. Might help in the Eurasia country, might help in India, definitely. The island of Indonesia, no. Africa, yes. So we'll go over that and we'll give you all the details of what uniform is going to be needed. We'll provide you also name tag for each one of the person, crew and friends. That's facilitate in the airport going back and forth through the different technicality of what airport have to offer. Luggage, well, you're flying your own airplane, so in a way you're not limited, except on some of these lodge in Africa mostly. Is going to be limited if there's any kind of flight. I'm thinking one in Namibia, we're going to be taking that flight on the caravan. You're going to be needed soft luggage. So that's details we're going to have to go on these details on what is needed luggage-wise for the journey. There's one question here just pop up in regard of insurance during the journey. So two things going to happen with your regular insurance. You're going to need to expand your insurance to go worldwide because that's going to be needed on this program. But there's also the requirement of Europe regarding the excess liability. That insurance world has been kind of complicated lately. So Air Journey on the side through the club, we have created an Air Journey excess liability insurance program through Lloyd's of London and another company in Europe. We got all the details. I'll be sending that out to you for the people who need that. So if you need a minimum of 2 million liability, and then we can go all the way up to 27 million, which will be good for everything turboprop all the way up to Phenom 300 and citation 5 or citation CJ3, 4, and so on. So that's going to be part of the program. We got the answer for that. And basically on the insurance, that's all what's needed. And there's all these technical questions. The other question we have over here, it's regarding inoculation. We're going to be talking about malaria. That's the only thing talked about. Malaria can be fight with the pills. I would recommend going and seeing your physician, what his recommendations are. None of them are required. It's only a recommendation. I've been going back and forth over there. I've done journeys with the malaria pills, and if you do that, be careful. One of them is not approved by VFA. Find out and listening to all the local people living in Africa, but let's do like the Brits, gin and tonic every evening will solve the problem. They claim. I can't confirm or deny that information. Regarding the itinerary itself, yes, it's set the way it is. If we do switch to Rome, I'll let you know, send that information. So, look like I've covered all the questions been requested. I have shown you what the journey is all about. Looking forward to have you on the journey. On, again, the minimum equipment type, an M2, citation M2 would be able to do the journey. Mustang, unfortunately, will be too short leg for the leg between Mali and the Seychelles. But everything above that, we should be able to do it. So I can be reached by email, by cell phone. Do reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer any question. And looking forward to sharing the journey with you. Have a great remaining of the weekend and thank you for attending. Bye-bye.